Hi everyone! So before we do our inquiry survey on the 21st century literacies, I'd like for you to create a practice survey on Google Forms, just so that you're a little more familiar with how Forms works and how you can collect and view data on Google Forms. And this is something that you're going to probably be using throughout your teaching career to collect information from students or for your own professional research or whatever. So if you've never used Google Forms before, this is for you, or if you have only a very limited understanding of the features that are available. So the first thing to do is make sure you're logged into your student Gmail, and then come up here to your waffle, your box of dots here, and scroll down until you find the purple Google Forms button. And from here, you can make a Google form or a quiz. I recommend the blank form for something like a survey. So we're going to do that. What I'm going to have you do for your practice form is to create a quiz to give your peers over any random topic. It could be cats, it could be Greek mythology, it could be Taylor Swift, any random thing, pizza, it doesn't matter. So just pick one type of topic to quiz your peers over to practice creating questions and collecting data. Pick something interesting. I'm going to do mine over, let's see, tea, because I am drinking tea right now. So up here you can put a little form description. So you want to give a brief description of the type of thing that you're trying to collect from people and why. And then over here there are many different types of questions. So I would like for you to have a minimum of 10 questions, and I would like for you to have many different types of questions. So I want you to sort of use all these different types of questions and give different types of ways of answering as well. So let's do a multiple choice question. Do you like tea? And then you can fill in the options. There's also suggestions here, so you can do yes, no, maybe, depends. You can also add other, so people can write in their own answer. So be thoughtful. I'm breezing through this just to show you, but be thoughtful in the types of questions that you're asking from students. You can also add images. So you could add an image from your own computer or from the internet of a different type of tea and have students choose. So try messing around with that type of response as well. I do recommend that you make them all required, unless sometimes if you have like a write-in answer. So let's do a short answer here, like explain your response to the previous question. Sometimes you want those to be required and sometimes you want that to be optional, so that's totally up to you. So let's do some other question types and answer types here. Let's try you could do check boxes. So this could be check all that apply. Or choose 2 to 3, black tea, green tea, let's get funky here. So, and then people could check the ones that work best for them. You will also want to have some short answer and paragraph questions. And you can do things like a scale. So, how much do you like tea? Number 1 being I don't. Number 5 being I love it. There we go, right? So, and then that type of question is going to be different. So all different types of types here. The other thing that you can do is you can mess around here. So you can add a title to a particular section. So this could be, questions about tea. The next one could be questions about teacups, right? So if you have particular sections, you can do that. And you can do tabbed sections as well. So maybe the second section is about teacups, right? And then you could have questions organized under there. To move these around, you hover until you see the 6 dots and you can pull them. So you want to make sure they're in an order that makes sense. Maybe more general questions followed by more specific questions. Once you start to distribute your survey, you can collect responses by looking up here. When you click on responses, it'll have a couple different ways that you can view those responses. You can also convert them to a Google Forms or a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet. And then you could customize your theme. Preview it as people will see it to make sure that it looks good. And then settings, you want to collect email addresses unless you're giving a completely anonymous survey. You can choose whether you want them to receive a response that says that they've completed it. You probably want to limit to 1 response. This is up to you. Are you going to send this survey to anyone outside of UCM? So when we make the 21st Century Literacy Survey, we will not click this. Do you want them to be able to come back? Do you want them to see what other people are responding as? You can shuffle the question order if it's something like a quiz. I wouldn't necessarily mess with any of this. If you have a very long quiz, you can click Show Progress Bar. You can change your confirmation message to something like thank you. And this applies to if you're giving a quiz. If you make it a quiz, you can assign point values to different questions, and it will also grade it for you based on those point values. So we can mess around with this as well once we start to practice online teaching, if we choose to do that unit. So we'll cancel all that. And then the way that you send this form is like this. So you can send it as a link to particular people, or you can send it as an email. So when you finish your form, I would like for you to send it as an email to each person in the class and also me. And then you can click include form in email, or otherwise it'll just have a link to the form. So probably that's what you want to do. Just leave this unchecked. So you're going to send it to each person in the class and also to me, and click send. And once you get the invitations to complete other people's quizzes, make sure you do that before Monday so that we can talk about viewing the feedback in different types of ways. So again, 10 questions using basically each of these, so that you have experience with each of these. There's not 10, so you'll have a couple different types of the same question basically, but 10 questions total. Mess around with the formatting and the sections as well. Let me know if you run into any trouble.